The CRA's a mess under that guy, and he's trying out to be a comedian in here. The Prime Minister's costly credit card budget puts today's reckless spending on tomorrow's taxpayers. He's maxing out Canada's credit card. Watchdogs are exposing the Liberals' accounting tricks. Fitch and the budget watchdogs say Canada's credit score is at risk because the Liberals always break their own made-up fiscal targets. How many more fiscal watchdog reports is it going to take for this Prime Minister to finally rein in his costly credit card spending?
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Mr. Speaker, I got some advice for the Leader opposite. He should go back in his lobby and push reboot on Chat CPC, because all it does is rehash the same tired old talking points. Last night, Mr. Speaker, this House passed a generational budget. We're going to invest in infrastructure, in defence and housing. We will transform this country from reliance to resiliency. It's too bad the members opposite didn't support us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Calgary East.
The CRA's a mess under that guy, and he's trying out to be a comedian in here. The budget watchdog exposed the Liberals' shady accounting tricks. He said Liberals have a less than 8% chance of meeting their own fiscal targets that they made up while trying to hide $100 billion under so-called investments. The Prime Minister tried this trick in the UK. He's trying the same trick on Canadians. Instead of cooking the books to hide his $100 billion ego, why doesn't he just rein in his out-of-control, costly credit card spending?
The Honourable Secretary of State.
Mr. Speaker, they want to talk about slogans and quoting slogans. They quoted the food professor so much, you think it was the Leader's personal chef, serving up the same tired old leftovers time and time again. Last night, we passed a generational budget that will transform this country. It's too bad the party opposite didn't support our budget. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Member for Barrie South, Innisfil.
Every Canadian should be thanking their lucky stars that we have a parliamentary budget officer whose job it is to be independent and honest about the state of government deficits, debts, and spending. The budget watchdog last week called out the creative accounting in the Prime Minister's credit card budget, saying he's using a definition of capital investment that expands beyond the current treatment in public accounts and international practice. In other words, the Prime Minister is cooking the books, and his out-of-control deficit is pouring more gas on the debt and deficit fires. How many more alarms must go off for the Prime Minister to rein in his spending from his credit card budget?
The Honourable Minister of Jobs and Families.
This budget is a game changer for families across the country. Whether it's the school nutrition program, which I know these Conservatives like to talk down, that's feeding hungry mouths in my riding of Thunder Bay Superior North and all across the country, or early learning and childcare program that's reducing fees. Listen to this, Mr. Speaker. ELCC has taken a huge mental and financial load off our family, particularly during these times. That's from a parent, Mr. Speaker. You can't beat that.
Honourable Member for Barrie South, Innisfil.
And what's the Liberal response to the interim PBO's warnings? They put him on notice that they'll be looking to replace him with someone who has, quote, tact and discretion. Presumably that means replacing the budget watchdog with someone from the Prime Minister's inner circle of corporate buddies who take their marching orders from him. The independence and oversight of the budget watchdog is designed to call out the deception and raise the alarms to ensure that every MP and Canadian knows when the books are being cooked. Here's a question. Why is it that the watchdogs who are challenging the wolves on this credit card budget being threatened?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Mr. Speaker, of course there's a well-worn process for appointment of the parliamentary budget officer, which involves consulting with all members of this House, including the Leader of the Opposition. We look forward to the members' feedback on that very important job search.
The Honourable Member for Bellechasse, Lisette-Chemin-Lévis. Mr. Speaker, this Prime Minister's credit card budget is a bill that he is passing on to our children. After 10 years of this government, families are struggling and have to put 50% more of their expenses on their credit cards just to get by, Mr. Speaker. Meanwhile, the rating agency Fitch says that federal finances are at a high risk of deterioration because the Liberals are constantly spending beyond their own limits. Will Fitch's opinion convince the Prime Minister to stop his reckless and irresponsible spending? The Honourable Minister of Government Transformation. Mr. Speaker, It's interesting to hear the Conservatives during question period. It's not surprising that Quebecers and Canadians rejected a party leader who spends all his time drafting cute sentences for question period, but doesn't have a real plan to build up Quebec and Canada. We will invest in defense, for example. That will support good jobs at the Davie shipyard. There will also be investments in Basecamp Connect in Quebec, which manufacture systems for the Canadian Armed Forces. Those are some examples of what the Conservatives voted against yesterday, and it's really unfortunate. The Honourable Member for Bellechasse, Lévis. Are they trying to tell us that Fitch and the Parliamentary Budget Officer are liars, Mr. Speaker? In fact, in the Parliamentary Budget Officer's latest report, the PBO confirms that the government has abandoned its key financial limits for reducing debt, and the PBO warns that this directly threatens Canada's credit rating and investor confidence. So, how many more alarming reports from the Parliamentary Budget Office will it take before this Prime Minister finally puts an end to the financial disaster? The Honourable Minister. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. It's important that we underscore that Canada has the best fiscal situation of all G7 countries, and we have the lowest debt-to-GDP ratio in the G7 as well. We are in a time of great economic change, which calls for ambition and serious work. That's exactly what Budget 2025-2026 does. We're investing in defense. We're investing in productivity, innovation, in the middle class. That's what Budget 2025 is, Mr. Speaker. That's what it's all about.
After 10 years of Liberal deficits, Canadians are having to put nearly 50% more of their expenses on credit cards. Fitch Credit Ratings, the agency that gives the Liberal government its credit score, says the Liberal government is frequently blows through fiscal anchors. On top of this, the Parliamentary Budget Officer is also ringing the alarm bells. Quote, with Budget 2025, the government abandoned the previous fiscal anchor to reduce federal debt-to-GDP ratio over the medium term. My question is, how many more fiscal watchdog reports is it going to take for the Prime Minister to rein in his costly credit card spending?
That's right.
The Honourable Secretary of State for Financial Institutions.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let's look at some facts. I know the party opposite doesn't really like to talk about facts. Best credit rating in the world. Lowest net debt to GDP in the G7. The IMF has projected Canada to have one of the fastest growing economies in the G7. Mr. Speaker, we are laser focused on building the strongest economy in the G7. Mr. Speaker, the party opposite talks slogans and rhetoric and outdated slogans, but Mr. Speaker, we're focused on building the strongest economy. Mr. Focus, we will deliver for Canadians because that's what Canadians expect from a serious government. Thank you.